My name is Dr. Charles Ugochukwu, the chairman, Nigerian Medical Association Federal Capital Territory branch. And with me is Dr. Michael Olariwaju, the secretary of Nigerian Medical Association FCT. We are here today because as a body, Nigerian Medical Association, we are worried indeed by the news making round in various media, especially social media, concerning the practices of some of our colleagues. Some of these allegations are very worrying to us, especially when it borders on harvesting and transplantation of solid organs, especially kidneys. This time around, the Alliance Hospital, which is one of the hospitals in this country that have pioneered and pushed organ transplant to a very high standards, have been in the eye of the storm. And it is our duty as a medical association to take interest in these allegations. Whereas we, on one side, we appreciate the fact that some of our hospitals in Nigeria are providing these high-end services, especially kidney transplant, that has cost the country so much money in terms of foreign capital flight out of the country. On the other hand, we're also worried about the sticking to ethical standards in performing these high-end operations. But let me assure Nigerians that our duty as doctors under Hippocratic oath is to make sure that we protect the rights and dignities of all patients, even after death. On that note, we have thought it wise to interrogate the management of Alliance Hospital, although they have given us some explanations, but it is important that we bring them to come and explain what has been going on. At this point, it is also important for us to know that in any situation, there are due processes, and such matters are probably not best addressed in the media. Therefore, by the time we finish listening to Alliance Hospital, we know what the issues are, and then we'll be able to advise them. For instance, there are laid down procedures for addressing such issues, even in the medical industry. Have those procedures been exhausted, or are we going to solve a problem in the media? So while we ponder with that, we're going to listen to Dr. Otabor, and thereafter you ask your questions. Dr. Otabor, management of Alliance Hospital, please, you have the floor.
The association, Dr. Charles Ugochukwu, and the secretary of NMA, distinguished members of the press. I'll start by thanking our esteemed chairman and the ESCO of the NMA FCT for giving me this wonderful opportunity to explain some things that have been going on, and also be able to take some questions from the press in order to clarify some issues that may be going on in the minds of Nigerians. Permit me to start this press briefing by telling you a story. And it has to do with the story of a young man who wrote me an email in 2022, January. I will leave his name, but I will read the email. He said, info@alliancehospital.com. That's the email address. He said, I'm traumatized and gradually losing myself because of the loan I am owing. The title of the email is, I want to donate my kidney to settle my financial debt that is incurring extra charges on daily basis. He said, I'm traumatized and gradually losing myself because of the loan I'm owing. If people have not experienced such desperation, they will not understand why I think of it. I am defaulting on a sum of 500,000 naira, and it is incurring extra charges. Recently, in a dynamic move, this has thrown me in huge debt. Now the loan companies are breathing on my neck, and I'm gradually dying because of how restless I am. I do not fear the risk because not doing anything is the greater risk. The worst case scenario is a painful death, which is also welcome to me as this debt is on my neck. The real hell is losing all my dignity and dream. I have been mocked and insulted by many who I contacted for financial assistance. I believe if by tomorrow they hear a sad story of suicide, they will act concerned and advocate for better care. Yet, they will mock you at every turn for their own pleasure just because they don't know how it bites. Right now, my focus is to pay my debt and save myself from dying. So it is better for me to have one kidney and live than to die with the two because of the debt I'm defaulting. Thank you. God bless you. He wrote his name, MK. That letter was received by 2:11 p.m. on 21st of January 2022. By 4:10 p.m., the same 21st January 2022, I replied. I said, Dear M, sorry about the difficult situation you have found yourself. I believe you can come out of it soon. You cannot donate your kidney and collect money at the same time. In any case, the law does not allow organ sale in Nigeria. People are only allowed to donate to their loved ones without financial consideration. If you are willing to work to pay your debt, Alliance Hospital can give you a job that suits your qualification. If you prove to be dedicated, the hospital can give you a loan to pay your debt while you work to pay back. Send your CV here for a job consideration. If you are interested, I wish you the best. Dr. Otabor, CU, Medical Director, Alliance Hospital, sent from Yahoo Mail on Android. The guy replied in 8 minutes' time. He said, Thank you, sir. I sincerely appreciate your concern. I'm interested and I promise to work diligently. Attached is my CV. Just 2 pages more. Then, that same 21st, by 5:32 p.m., I forwarded the mail to the HRO. I said, Gladys, that was our HRO officer then. I said, Gladys, please arrange for interview for this chap ASAP, Dr. Otabor. On the 26th of January, Gladys replied me using the HRO email. He said, Good morning, sir. Interview was done yesterday. He has a diploma in computer appreciation. His performance was fair and he's trainable. His salary expectation is 50,000 naira. I recommend him for employment as ICT assistant. Awaiting your directive. Gentlemen of the press, as we speak, the guy is a staff of Alliance Hospital for almost 2 years now. Immediately after that encounter, he was employed, and he's still working with us till today. And the gentleman is here, right here in this hall. With his permission, I will ask you to interview him later on. This is the mail thread. You can have it. My secretary has more of this. You can read it on your own. So, to the crux of the matter, on Saturday, 19th August 2023, Daily Trust newspaper carried as their cover story an article titled, How Abuja Syndicates Lured Minor for Kidney Harvest. The picture of Alliance Hospital was conspicuous on their front page, close to the caption. At first look at the headline, one would reason that the article is addressing the problem of organ sales in Nigeria. But on reading through, it became clear to anyone discerning that Alliance Hospital is the target of a campaign of calumny by Daily Trust newspapers and their sponsors. Seeing that the furore that greeted their first article of 19th of August 2023 had died down without achieving their goal, Daily Trust newspaper published another article on Sunday, 10th of December, 2023, written by the same staff of the newspaper house. The title for the second publication is Investigation Inside Abuja Kidney Market, Where the Rich Prey on the Poor. Again, a beautiful title, but the purpose is to vilify Alliance Hospital. I give you a background to the story. Alliance Hospital, in response to the huge burden of kidney failure in Nigeria and the need to develop a world-class kidney transplant center to prolong the lives of kidney failure patients, decided to establish a kidney transplant unit in 2017. The program has been running successfully till date with a huge success story. We have done close to 100 kidney transplants with over 90% success. What's our procedure? As a rule, kidney recipients source for their kidneys, for their donors, and present them to the hospital for screening for compatibility and fitness for donation. After the screening, we proceed to ensure that they meet the legal requirements, which include: 1, the donor must be an adult. That means he must be at least 18 years old by the time of the donor surgery. Secondly, donor must sign consent in the presence of an adult witness. And 3, the donor is expected to swear to an affidavit stating their age and affirming that the decision to donate is by free will and that there is no compulsion or financial inducement. And then they are also expected to state their relationship with the recipient. The law governing organ transplant in Nigeria is scanty and limited in depth. All you have is because before we started this, we looked at the laws. All we have is the 2014 National Health Act that was signed into law by the former president, Goodluck Jonathan. And that law only stated a few things. And those are the things that are in line with our own protocol, which is it must not be done by a minor. There must be no financial consideration in terms of the transplant. But the law allows for people to be given compensation, maybe to recuperate and stuff like that. They didn't say how much the compensation is. So we have followed the above protocol strictly for all the kidney transplant cases that have been done in Alliance Hospital. So this case in question, on the 5th of May, 2023, this year, one Lawal Idris, representing Lawal Idris firm in Abuja, wrote a petition to the FCT Commissioner of Police, stating that one Emmanuel Melody, a purported staff of Alliance Hospital, lured his client, Oluwatobi Adebayo, a 17-year-old boy, to the hospital to harvest his kidney. And Alliance Hospital paid the boy, that's the donor, only 1 million naira. The lawyer was actually angry that how can we pay somebody 1 million naira for organ donation. It was when I got to the police station and I met with the Commissioner of Police. I told him, I said, Commissioner, you people are complaining about that the money is too small. That it is crime, it's a crime. This boy should be living here to jail if he ever admitted that he collected any money, because it's against the law. The lawyer also claimed in his petition that due investigations were not done to ascertain compatibility and fitness of the boy for surgery. He prayed the police commissioner to investigate the matter and bring the culprits to book. Kidney transplant is a big deal. We don't just grab patients and take into the theater. Most of the time, it takes more than 1 month at the minimum of preparation, of doing different types of tests, compatibility tests. We do scan for the kidney to be sure that the kidneys are okay, and then after all the medical procedures are okay, we now go for the legal procedure. That's where we ask the patient, to the donor, to go to the court to swear an affidavit to back up all the claims that they have. The police commissioner ordered the arrest of some members of our a member of our kidney transplant team, the donor surgeon. And then he instituted a high-level investigation team to investigate the claim. That team was led by, I think it's a superintendent of police, so SP Moses Simdok. The police found no merit in the petition as the key suspect, Emmanuel Melody, was proven not to be a staff of Alliance Hospital. They asked for the payroll of Alliance Hospital. They found out that the so-called Emmanuel Melody was not a staff and has never been a staff of the hospital because they came to the hospital to do their investigation. They also went to the court and they met the court clerk that administered the affidavit to the young man. And the court clerk confirmed to them that the boy came on his own accord. He was standing across the counter, giving them all his information, and that there was no duress. So the police confirmed from the court that the donor, Oluwatobi Adebayo, swore to an affidavit stating that he was above 18 years of age at the time of the surgery. The affidavit stating age and donation on free will without monetary inducement is a key requirement for us in the hospital. Without that, we will not go ahead with the surgery. Furthermore, there is no iota of evidence of any monetary transaction between the Alliance Hospital or its staff and the donors or their representative, as the Daily Trust report is claiming. Having failed with the police, because the police could not press charges because there was no basis. Having failed with the police, the same lawyer, Mr. Lawal Idris, who initially wrote to the Commissioner of Police, contacted one Mr. Bakri, who claimed to be the Director of Criminal Justice Department of the Legal Aid Council, to write a letter to the Medical Director of Alliance Hospital. That letter was dated 2nd of August 2023. And in that letter, they were demanding for the sum of 150 million naira as compensation for the unlawful harvest of a minor's kidney, and 100 million naira for the minor, 50 million naira for his father for psychological and emotional trauma. They threatened to go to court if we don't meet their demand in 7 days. The medical director of Alliance Hospital swiftly responded to that letter bearing the logo of Legal Aid Council. In his reply, he stated the fact that the hospital is not interested in paying any compensation, as in, we know they pay shishi. They were advised to go to court if they so wished. In response to our rebuttal, Mr. Lawa Idris and his co-travelers contacted Daily Trust newspaper for a press briefing. If you have observed, it's only Daily Trust that has been on this story ever since that time, because they now have a personal vendetta. They have a point to prove. On a mission to discredit the hospital after being recruited by Mr. Lawal, the Daily Trust news reporter Lami Sadiq visited the hospital and spoke with the medical director on the case in question. When she came to the hospital, I gave her all the facts, everything as I'm talking to you now. And if you ask me 50 times, I will tell you the same thing 50 times. Not knowing that Lami Sadiq had her own agenda, she jettisoned everything I said, and she spoke her mind into the report. She condemned Alliance Hospital in the report and even requested for the government to punish Alliance Hospital. She was taking the place of a court. A few days after, later, specifically on the 19th of August 2023, the first headline publication of the story debuted. The story was vindictive, biased, and an obvious vendetta against the hospital. The second publication of 10th December is in line with the first, and it is a peddler of half-truth. While we appreciate the need for investigative journalism to get to the root of societal problems, we must state here categorically that the Daily Trust report is a calculated attempt to malign the hospital, having disregarded the facts presented to them. They choose whose story to believe. From the report, it is obvious that there is an organ market there, which Alliance Hospital is not part of and can never condescend to transacting. The writer of the article obviously took a position against the hospital, pronounced a guilty verdict on it, and called for punishment for the hospital without due regard to the fact. Nobody is denying the fact that there's an organ market in Nigeria, and if, in fact, it is indeed a worldwide problem. It's a multi-billion-dollar problem. But to hinge it on Alliance Hospital, after we have followed due diligence, is wicked. You may not be able to prevent a bird from flying over your head, but sure enough, you can prevent it from making a nest over your head. If you go to any embassy, or you go to even the passport office, there are passport racketeers. There are visa racketeers just outside the U.S. embassy. If they get involved with someone and the visa deal goes bad, do you arrest U.S. embassy? You don't. Even after we claim that the so-called Emmanuel Melody is not a staff of Alliance Hospital, they still kept writing it, that one Emmanuel Melody, who is a staff of Alliance Hospital, is the one that lured this boy. Now, I found out that those guys, those young boys, they understand the trick. They know that if they say that they are less than 18 years old, Alliance Hospital will never receive them or even consider them for transplant. So they knew about it and they lied, that if you say your real age, they won't take you. Because they were motivated by the money that have been promised to them by one Emmanuel Melody that I don't know. And so the boy came to lie to me. Many of us were patients at one time or the other. When we go to the hospital and we tell our age to the hospital staff, do they ask for birth certificate? Do we present our birth certificate? But we even went beyond ordinary to say, go and swear to an affidavit. Because the boy claimed that it's his uncle that he's donating for. I encourage other media houses with genuine intentions to dig deep to unravel the key players in this trade. Alliance also has nothing to do with the illegal organ harvesting. I also encourage the National Assembly. I think it is time that they rise up to this responsibility to look into the laws that are governing our organ transplant in Nigeria. Though you see, organ transplant is a baby discipline. We have not grown quite a lot. But this is the time that they should now begin to look at modifying the law to make it difficult for charlatans to transact in the illegal organ trade behind the scene, because I call this a behind-the-scene transaction. In the meantime, we have instructed our lawyers to file a suit in court against Daily Trust newspaper for defamatory publication, because we wrote to them to retract the statement. They refused. So we have filed, I've instructed my lawyers to file a case in court for defamation, and we are claiming the sum of 1 billion naira. They have continued to publish lies against us, against the hospital, both in print and in video format. Alliance Hospital is a hospital of repute, and many of you know at one time or the other, we are strong on corporate social responsibility. There was a time Kadiri Kana, a coach, former coach of Nigerian national team, I saw him on TV suffering. He was begging for help. I invited him to the hospital. I did 2 hip replacements for him free of charge. He didn't pay a kobo. And that treatment cost 10 million naira. He didn't pay a kobo. And I can count tens and hundreds of people like that we have reached out to save their lives. Just recently, we organized an outreach that cost us millions of naira to screen for diabetes and hypertension. And we saved a lot of people from dying of stroke and heart attack. This is our calling. I thank the NMA chairman for this opportunity, because an injury to one is an injury to all. If other hospitals or other doctors think that this is about Alliance Hospital, they are lying, because very soon it will come knocking on the doors of other hospitals. They want to frustrate the work that we are doing to stop medical tourism. An average kidney transplant abroad costs about $50,000 to $150,000. Not too many Nigerians can afford that. We are bringing succor to Nigerians, and they want to destroy this program, and we should not allow it. Thank you very much for listening.
Very clear that at this point in time, the Nigerian Medical Association and all her organs of administration, we are neither for nor against Alliance Hospital. Our duty at this point, and indeed, even if any other hospital is involved, our duty is to create a platform whereby the accused has an opportunity to say a few words concerning the allegations that have gone so viral, much to our concern. And as you're also aware, like he presented, some of this matter is already in court. However, since he has an opportunity to explain himself, you're only hearing one side of the story. When the matter is determined in the court, I believe, they always do a thorough job. And of course, NMA will never, at any point in time, encourage negligence of duty or malpractice. Never. As a matter of fact, the NMA has Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria that has been charged with the responsibility of regulating practice. And MDCN has an arm, the tribunal, that they try doctors, erring doctors, who have been found culpable in issues related to bad practice. And we always encourage our patients, if you feel you haven't been treated well, please, don't choose violence against us. Violence can be physical, emotional, and so on and so forth, cyberbullying. Please, go to the tribunals, trust them. MDCN has a tribunal, they do a thorough job. And I'm sure you have been hearing that they discipline doctors, even to the extent of delisting you from the registry, stripping you of your practicing license. So we have internal mechanisms to check our practice. Don't take laws into your hands. Some publications can be very misleading. They can be one-sided. We want a situation where any potential case is given a balanced judgment by constituted authorities. Now the floor is open, members of the press. Do your investigative journalism, come out with facts. As far as patient care is concerned, we don't have any friend, we don't have any enemy. Our friend is the Hippocratic Oath. That is the compass that guides our practice. If any doctor is found erring, let the MDCN do his job, or any other authority. Authority that has been given to you by the government. We have a government. They've given different arms, different authorities to make sure that we have an order in the society. We don't want a situation of disorderliness. Let there be an order so that we can have some sanity and do our job properly. Now the floor is open. He is here. He is one of us. We are here because of him. And we're here to make sure that the right thing is done. There is always a correct way of doing things. And after going around and around and around, you come back to the right way to do it. Because that's the only way you can make progress. Members of the press, please, you have the floor.